5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ready.
Just relax and enjoy the ride.
In crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815.
If you've ever helped a friend move, you've got to believe what I believe, and that's that libraries must be the heaviest buildings in the entire world. I'm Greg. He's Tom. This is the 12th day of April, the year 2025, the latest it has ever been.
In the history of mankind. I have a cure for that. I got a bumper sticker that says, yes, this is my truck, and no, I won't help you move.
I've seen that bumper sticker before.
I know. I didn't come up with it. It wasn't original. There's nothing original about me other than my 600 teddy bears.
There he is.
I know every week I bring a teddy bear onto the show, don't I? It's usually the same one. I like this little guy. He's one of my faves.
We like the teddy.
My grandsons love it too. Every time my grandsons are over and they're in the next room, they're still probably sleeping. My grandson Ben says, "Grandpa, can I take a plushie?" I'm like, dude, every week my son and daughter-in-law are probably like, Dad, can you not send bears home with him? I just want him to go to a good home. That's all. Ben will take good care of them.
Before people think this is a teddy bear podcast, you've tuned into the In Crowd 815 podcast in the 815 Rockford area, focused on Rockford area not-for-profits and the businesses that support them. We love having you on here and joining us and supporting all things 815. We got two great guests this morning, and I think they have more in common than their first names. We'll find out maybe a little bit about that as the show progresses today, but we're going to learn all about Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum and Gardens and something called A Mother's Love free community store in Machesney Park. So hang out for that. Before we get to our guests, though, we have some business to take care of. If I can click the right button, let's try that. Our current race to 10 has me down by 1 point. It's Tom 3, Greg 2 in our big number of the week challenge. And every week one of us scores a point. So we're 5 weeks in. This is a little bit different now, Tom, than it used to be.
It's still rigged.
It's still rigged. Yeah, it's a completely rigged game. 146,200 is our big number of the week this week. And the answer is Adventure or Alexander. What do you think the answer is? Put it in the comments. Get bragging rights on knowing what the big number of the week is this week. And I challenge you. Throw up your Google machine, your Bing, your AI powered search for 146,200 and throw in Adventure or Alexander and see if you can find the answer before the end of the hour. I think this story that I got this number from was from the last week. I think it was from the last 7 days. It might have been 10 days ago. But it's recent enough that it should show up somewhere on your search, and maybe you'll get it. So we'll see. Let's see here. 146,200. Right. Yep. There we go. Okay. Just double checking my. I'm like, I've had a. Can you believe I had a lot going on this week, Tom?
No, I find that very hard to believe. You're kind of. I don't know. What's the word? Not lazy, but you just kind of like to sit around a lot and do nothing.
I'm wearing the shirt. I'm wearing the shirt.
Very good.
I'll be wearing Thursday night at the Masked Karaoke Trivia Contest, our second installment of the In Crowd 815 Masked Karaoke Trivia Contest.
I'll be wearing my shirt as well. Okay, I sent you my guess. I also sent you the thing I was sending you earlier that they both came through now. I realized I hadn't hit send. So that was the backside of the golf outing. Maybe we could talk about that at some point.
Okay.
For NAMI. But I sent you my guess as well. So
Thank you. Got it.
let me
Got
know if I'm correct. If not, then I'm going to send you the other guess.
it. Speaking of rigged. All right. So
Yeah.
the big contest that we have coming up this Thursday night, just so that you are 100% completely aware, you can't come. You're not able to attend unless you are invited by one of the teams that is participating. And I'm going to give you a rundown right now. In fact, you know what? Let me put this on the screen real quick before we get to our first guest, because this is it right here. Here's the list. Please work. Pretty please. I know it's really small print on your screen right now, but if you're using a PC, maybe you'll see it better. The 2025 Mass Karaoke Trivia Contest is April 17th. That's this Thursday night. No, you cannot get in unless you are on the list. Seating is limited, so each team participating has been given an allotment of seats available to them that they can sell, auction off, give away. We just need the names of the people. We need them on the VIP list. So if you want to attend this event Thursday night, you need to be on the VIP list of one of the participating teams. And here are those participating teams: Mosaic in Rockford, Medicare 411, Tracy Foltz over there, Iverson Painting, Rockhouse Kids, Security Pro Intel with Juan, Shelter Care Ministries of Rockford, the Tommy Coral Memorial Foundation, PC Tech to You, Shatter Our Silence and Kevin Polkey's Four Corners Counseling Services, Title Underwriters Agency, Northern Illinois Food Bank, DJ Liquors and the Nicholas Ritchell Foundation, Nick's Wish, Safe Families for Children, the Greater Rockford Chapter, Illinois Telecommunications Access Corporation and RAMP, the Ski Bronx Water Ski Show Team, Peak Sports Club, and Rockford Promise, Rock Valley Credit Union. So I just gave you not-for-profit names and business names, and those are the sponsors and participating not-for-profits in this event. They have a very limited number of seats available. So if any of those that you just heard are not-for-profits that you like to support, or businesses that you're aware of and you're like, hey, I know them, get in contact with them and say, hey, I'd like to be at this event. I'd like to see this fun thing that we're doing. It's basically the best way to describe what you're going to be witnessing on Thursday night is you're going to be like in the audience of a taping of a TV game show. That's what it's going to kind of feel like as you're in the audience of this event Thursday night, as you watch 12 teams compete to win $2,000 for their favorite not-for-profit. 2 other teams will also win cash prizes for their not-for-profits. And it is going to be just a fun, entertaining night. Tom's going to be our trivia master. He's going to have some trivia questions today that may or may not end up on that Thursday night list of trivia questions. And our friend Casey Matzke is our karaoke queen, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So plan now to join us if you are available and can get a hold of one of those participants to get a seat. All right, our first guest today, Tom. Guess where she's from?
Oh, I'm going to say I don't know. Oh, A Mother's Love.
A Mother's Love.
I thought you meant like where is she born? I don't know.
Machesney Park,
Machesney
Park,
Park,
Illinois, I believe is where she makes her home. But if not, she'll correct me here in a second. We have Samantha Swinbank on with us right now, and good morning to you, Samantha.
Good morning. Hello.
Hey, look at you!
Morning,
You're at the
morning.
store.
Yes, we came in early today.
Thank you so much for doing that. I hope you got things to do besides our little show.
Tons of fun things today.
There's always stuff to do at the shop there, right?
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, before we get into all things A Mother's Love, let's learn a little bit about you, Samantha. We want to know like where you grew up, where you went to school, and kind of what led you to this place at A Mother's Love.
All right. I'm Samantha. I grew up in Machesney Park for the most part. Lived very little in Rockford. Actually, I grew up right around the corner from where our shop is now. I used to come in here when it was the hardware store, so it's pretty
Oh,
neat to
nice.
see it come full circle.
Wow. Okay.
I went to
You're a
Harlem for high
Harlem
school.
Husky.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Enjoyed Harlem quite a bit. Then after, high school, I did a year of college. I did not continue that. I became a stay-at-home mom and started taking care of my siblings when my mom had passed away. How it all kind of came about here was that I seen a group on Facebook, and I seen it. It was really cool, but it was kind of far away, and I thought, hey, we could probably make it our own in a way. I used to work quite a bit. I worked at Little Caesars, I worked for daycares, and I also helped take care of my stepfather at the time. From going from working three to, pretty much three jobs, I decided that I couldn't just stay home and raise kids, which is important, but I needed to feel like I was also helping my family and giving back. So when I saw that group, I knew that was something that I could probably do something like it. That group had a trade and they could bring clothes and trade it off. Otherwise, they could get it for really low cost to them. So when we first started, it was out of our tiny little back porch in our driveway. We had clothes that we would just, kind of put on Facebook and say, hey, come trade your stuff. We had, all the time you drive by and you see stuff sitting outside, and it just broke my heart to see it go in the garbage or, on the marketplace where people are selling things for crazy amounts. I'm like, there's a better way to do this. So after seeing that group and knowing I couldn't get down there, we've revamped it a little bit and just started trading and giving things away free. Um, I would say not even a year into it, people just started dropping stuff off at our apartment and our house. Once we moved into, or we were at our apartment, once we left there to our home, we had this tiny area on one side of the garage that was separated. So we decided that was now going to be kind of the permanent home for our trading event. Um, Shortly, about another year later, we had about 100 people standing in my driveway, and that was down on Wayne, just not too far from where we're at now. And it just was not ideal. It kind of blew up more than I realized it was going to, and it
Yeah.
all started off with Facebook.
Wow.
After that, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to I just wanted to put up on the screen here this banner that you have on your Facebook page.
Beautiful. So after the house and realizing we can't have 100 people there, and honestly, a lot of our own personal belongings were getting taken at the time just because it was a bigger, thing going on. It was hard to keep track of.
Mm.
One of our family church, a lady that was there was like, hey, we have all this space. I'm sure we could do something for it. And so we approached the church council and they were surprisingly on board with it. So we moved into the church, and that's when we officially became a Mother's Love. A Mother's Love has its name because my mother's love for me and my love for my children. So working a lot, like I said, I wanted to make sure we were having things for our family and feeling like I was contributing to the family as well. So once we started going to the church, we would have to tear down church, put all of our boxes and stuff out on tables, and then after our event, which usually lasted a day to 2 days, we would have to tear everything back down and put it in a little room. Um, Going there was amazing because we were able to help so many people, but it also lost the connection. When people would come to our home, we knew, I would know what's in the garage. I would keep track better of what all we had, and we could get to it easily. And we couldn't necessarily at the church because I was the only one with access to it. So it was very hard to have all this stuff that we couldn't really give out. Once we started, our monthly events there, it also kind of incorporated to just different little fun things like Christmas. We have a big, huge giveaway that we want to make sure people are getting things that they need. We had different fun crafts and things like that. So the church was a huge help for us to be able to do all of these things. But again, it just wasn't really meeting everything that we knew we should be doing. When we first started, people would message and say, hey, I just got these foster children, I need this. Or, hey, we just, kind of want this for our children. Do you happen to have it? You would be surprised, quite honestly, at what comes in and out of a mother's love way back then and even currently. We, after setting up church so many times, a couple of our people at the time were like, hey, we should probably do something so we can be, more seen and more giving. Well, we took a plunge of starting a $3 donation, $3 donation room at the church. We opened it up and had things sized and labeled for people to come in once a week, um, to be able to get items as well. And with that, they would fill a bag and they would, make a $3 donation. That $3 donation we would just put in the bank account and put in the bank account until we found a place that would pretty much take a risk on us. Um, the building we're in now, like I said, it was very sentimental to me because it was the hardware shop when I was little and I used to come in here all the time with my papa. So we decided to call it. Lo and behold, the guy was actually really amazing. And he told me, at first he's like $3,000 a month. And I said, okay, well, we'll have to give you a call some other time. This isn't
Yeah.
gonna work.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I like your story, I like what you do. Come on in and see me. When we came in, we knew that this would be a perfect fit for us. It is divided into two sections. When we moved in here, originally envisioned having free shop and then a party area, so that way there would be affordable places to have events and things that we actually hold ourselves as well. But after we got in here, donations kept pouring in, thankfully, and we were unable to maintain that space to have a party area. So we knew we needed to figure out some way to be able to provide for our building. And then that's when we came up with our donation shop, which is what I'm standing in today.
Okay.
That is a small area that we ask for monetary donations and it pays for the bills and the things we do. We do have very few sponsors. We are looking to, get more sponsors. So this part isn't as needed. I would love to do away with this up here, to be completely honest. We can get enough sponsorships to be able to provide for, the building and things that we do. On top of our donation shop, we have our free shop, which is what is our main thing besides our events that we hold in the community. Our free shop, anybody is able to come and shop. We do ask that they sign a waiver just saying that they're not going to sell anything they're getting,
Mhm.
that it's all for personal use, and that, um, oh, sorry, my child is can't sell anything, that it's all for personal use, and if you get hurt, you
Liability.
can't use it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Liability
Um,
stuff.
Pretty much just that, just so we can kind of keep track too, and make sure it's going to people who need it and not just somebody's going to come and take a bunch of it and do something else with it.
Yeah.
The best part, I think, is seeing from when we were first in my back porch to hear how much the community has really stepped up to help. I could not do this alone anymore. This is something that takes, tons of people, and we have a small group who comes in to be able to get the things out and put away in our events that we're doing. So on top of our free shop, we have events for pretty much every holiday. I'm huge. My mom was really big on holidays, so it's something that I incorporate with this. The first year we were in the church, we wanted to help families with Christmas. Um, this one little girl, Ramona, she asked for a Christmas tree, and that was the only thing on her Christmas wish list.
Mm.
So at that point, me being sorry me being very big on holidays, we knew that that was something that we needed to kind of go into. I never really realized that people didn't get to experience Christmas like the North Pole. So we want to provide Christmas trees and lights and things along that nature instead of the toys, because there's so many local organizations that do a wonderful job to provide those things.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
we gear towards, the decorations, and Halloween we do costumes, we do decorations. We've always tried to either be a part of a trunk or treat or to hold trunk or treats. We do school supplies, usually in July or August, that we'll give, back to the community. Whoever needs it, they're welcome to come and take it. In September, we have a big, huge coat drive next door at the motel's yard. And, anyone's welcome to come get coats, boots, gloves, hats, all kinds of winter related items. And then, like the Ramona's Wish now, it is anything from Thanksgiving all the way into the new year. So multiple holidays at one time. That's usually one of our biggest events. We also usually do Easter baskets, take part in either holding our own Easter event or joining with other organizations to make that happen. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm not entirely sure with our other events that we're doing. I know we do have one tomorrow that we'll be having the Easter Bunny. So the Easter Bunny always comes to our shop and takes free pictures for children in the community. The parents take the picture. There's a cute little backdrop set up. We will have an egg that you can color. There will be games, raffles, and just tons of little fun things to do. The other days we will have the Easter Bunny is the 16th and the 17th from 4 to 6 in case anybody's not able to make it tomorrow. After that, May is Mother's Day, so we will be doing some type of Mother's Day thing, whether it just be handing out seed packets and gifts for moms, or if we can try to incorporate into a little event depending on the weather. June, we are hoping to have a big Nerf gun event. It will be we got a lot of Nerf guns very similar in, and I'm like, gun safety is really big, and when kids come in here and they see a Nerf gun and they're just shooting it all over the place, we want to teach not only, how to properly use it so somebody's not getting hurt in the shop, but even when they go home if they were to come across these things. So we thought it would be a fun way to kind of incorporate safety along with giving away these Nerf guns. I've been throwing it on since like last fall, thinking about doing it. And then recently we were wondering about prizes and a bunch of brand new Nerf guns came in. So hopefully in June we'll also, have Father's Day. So we'll be giving things away for fathers, but hopefully that'll be a way we can incorporate the Father's Day with the Nerf guns.
Yeah, sounds like a good connection.
Yes, we're hoping. I'm not sure how well it's going to go over yet. I know some people are kind of on the fence with, Nerf guns and that, but I know there's a lot of kids who come in and really enjoy being able to get that because those things are kind of expensive and they probably couldn't get them outside of here.
Yeah. My grandsons love those things. I bet Tom's does too.
Oh, absolutely. I've been nailed a few times with them. They don't hurt. And I agree with you 100%. Teach them gun safety at an early age. In fact, we tell our grandsons, do not aim for the head. Just
glasses.
Just because.
Safety glasses are good for Nerf gun wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. We do have some of those set aside too. So we have like barriers that they're going to be able to set up and actually try to like maneuver around, and we'll make it a very, competition, and the kids will get to keep the guns at the end, and it should be a good time.
Awesome.
We also have a donation shop online. So on Facebook, we put the net shop. I apologize, not donation shop. The net shop. That's just things that people come in and they're like, hey, you guys could probably get something off of this. Put it on and see what you can do to raise the money for the rent and the bills and the things that you guys do. So we try to put some stuff on there. Everything that you see that has a price on it, it's just a suggested donation. We always ask, if you can't afford that, let us know. We work with you. It's lots of times people come in and they get free items out of the donation shop, especially if they're not finding stuff in the free shop. I don't know if you'd like me to kind of give you a little tour now, or
yeah. Go ahead and show us around the shop here real quick. Since you're on there, since you're on the mobile camera there, let's go ahead and show us around the shop. And maybe while you're showing us these things that you have currently in the shop, where you can suggest to folks watching and listening today, what do you find is like the greatest need? What is the top couple of things that most people come in asking for or needing that you think people can maybe donate to your shop?
So the things up here now that we're looking at is the donation shop. Lots that goes quick are blankets, household items, kitchen. People are always moving, needing dishes and pots and pans. Furniture is another one. Furniture is a little harder sometimes. We might have to post it on our group. Otherwise, if there's room, we can accept it too. You're going to find pretty much everything in here.
Mm-hmm.
There really is no rhyme or reason to what is going out. It's just things that people may want or need. The place where we're going into now is our free shop. Everything you see back here is free. We have toys, tons of clothes. Clothes gets donated quite a bit, but we can never get enough children's clothes. But for the most part, I would say household.
Go ahead,
That's a much bigger place than I would have thought.
Oh yes, we make a lot of room with our space. We have some wonderful people who do a lot of the organizing, because I would just throw the stuff out here and say, come take it.
That's the big challenge with any kind of thrift store, thrift shop, and in your case, this free area. It's because you get so many variety of things. Organizing it all is a bit of a challenge.
Definitely. And sometimes you'll come in and I mean, the free shop, it gets a lot of people in here. I mean, we're used at least 300 to 500 times a month, if not more. So
Mm.
sometimes you'll see there's hangers down, there's bins that we try to put it, but we really truly can't have enough hands to be able to put things out. And also, like we just partnered up with Screw City Jeeps for an Easter event, and we were so busy with that the free shop kind of gets neglected because we are a very, very small team. So any help as far as volunteers, that is always greatly appreciated. You're not allowed to have any crimes towards children or elderly. Unfortunately, my children are usually here, a lot of our volunteers' children, and then most of our ladies are elderly that come in to be able to help us.
Simple background check stuff. That's understandable. But if anyone wants to volunteer an hour, 10 hours, a month, a week, whatever you got, right? It's come on by and
Anytime.
fill out a little, probably, is it like a 1-page form that you have them fill out?
So we do have on our website, there is a volunteer section that you would fill out. I also like to say, just send me our number, send them a text message with the name and the county that they do reside in, or if they need community service, just so that way we can kind of take a look, and then we'll let them know, like, hey, you're good to come in. And then when they come in, they do have a Lisa clause to sign. That is just at the church, we had a lady who went by Lisa, and she unfortunately had a seizure and nobody knew her real name. So if we wouldn't have known the personal people that knew her, she would have went as somebody else. So after that, we do have an emergency sheet that we need people to sign, but it's really simple. We take everybody as they are. So if there's something you can and can't do, if there's something you excel at, we truthfully take anyone.
Okay.
The-
I imagine, high school students, one of the things that a lot of time colleges like to see is and with their entrance forms and stuff, admittance forms, they like to see community service, volunteer hours and stuff like that. So here's an opportunity for your high school student maybe to go and get some volunteer hours and help out around the shop.
Absolutely. We do also have business sponsorships. That's the banners that I'm showing. Those are for anyone who, whether they donate services or whether it's time, they are, recognized for doing that. Sorry, let me place you back up here really quick.
Nice.
Right.
So
You may have mentioned it. I'm a little ADD. I may have missed it. What are your hours?
whew, that's the hard one. So with our volunteers, sometimes it fluctuates. For the most part, it's very different. So I will go slow, and they're also posted on our group, on our website. Tuesday through Thursday is 10 to 6:30. Please wait. Wednesday, or I'm sorry, Tuesday through Thursday. Now Friday is 11 to 6. Saturday is 10 to 8, and then Sunday's 11:30 to 4. Mondays we are closed. Sometimes the ladies that come in and try to get some stuff done, but that's also the day that I kind of refused for me to have to work. But then I ended up joining the Kiwanis group. So we, it's never a dull moment. We're always doing something, whether it be networking or trying to make sure people meet needs. And saying that if somebody needs something on a Monday, there's been many times where I have come in to be able to get the things that they need to.
And that gives us a good opportunity to segue into the Kiwanis event that's coming up here, because that's coming up that we want to give that a good plug today as well. The Parks Kiwanis. There we go. Well, this is 2024. That ain't right. Or is that supposed to say 2025?
Whoops, I have that here too. So
Back up. Parks Kiwanis Club. Workshop fundraisers coming up. It is in May though, correct?
it is in May. It's May 17th. I do have the poster here at the shop that I can show.
Let's see if it's updated on the website. What we do. Is this just a generic Kiwanis?
I believe it is. Yeah, that's probably because it's international.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But I do have the flyer here. So.
Okay. So May 17th is the next Parks Kiwanis Club Pork Chop fundraiser. And where is that going to be held at?
So it's at the Loves Park City Hall.
City Hall.
The best part about this fundraiser is it helps so many organizations in Machesney Park, Rockford, Loves Park. We donate to Gigi's Playhouse, Walter Lawson's Children's Home, Boys and Girls Club. They actually do donate to A Mother's Love as well as Northern Illinois Food Bank. We had a long list, and with all of your guys' help, our list is getting bigger. We do scholarships, which actually on Monday we'll be giving away 3 scholarships with the money that we have raised through our pork chop day. I know everybody knows about prop days, but we're trying to get the word out about our pork chops. They are delicious sandwiches, and I'm not just saying that. Pork chop day is probably one of the main reasons, other than the awesome community involvement that Kiwanis does, that I joined for. I had joined because sorry. When we got invited to speak about A Mother's Love at Kiwanis, I quickly threw myself in to be able to help them because there was a need for this fundraiser. Showing up there and seeing, whether it be the action clubs, which are local kids that come in to help the day of the event, and also the preparation it takes for us. There's so many wonderful sponsors. If I can get this on here.
There you go.
That put this event on. Cool part about our fundraiser is it comes with a coupon full of goodies. So your $8 in advance gets you all of this wonderfulness: a pork chop sandwich, a cookie. It's changed over the years, so I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. We have a cookie, we have chips, we have a water, and then we also have the sandwich. It is from Penance, so the meat is delicious.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else I could say to it, but you guys should really come out and support us.
And that's going to be at Loves Park City Hall, May 17th, a Saturday, 11 to 5. So
yep, it is $9 at the door. So you can get tickets the day of. It's just $1 more. But it's drive-through. It's usually really fairly easy process.
Yeah, it's basically the brat days, only with pork chop sandwiches instead of brats.
Exactly.
We like pork chops too, so
that's right. That's right.
That's actually my anniversary, so maybe my wife and I will drive through for a pork chop sandwich.
Awesome.
We start at 11 and we end at 5. So if you want it for lunch instead of your dinner, that would be great too.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Well, because we have another guest on today, we're going to go ahead and do our transition now. So our other Samantha, get ready to come on the screen. A Mother's Love Community Free Shop, again, is on North 2nd Street. You're right next to the Park Appliance guy, which is how I found out about you, because I needed to go see Tony over there at Park Appliance. And I'm like, Community Free Shop. I bet that's a not-for-profit. And I popped in and met Samantha. And we had a nice conversation, and which resulted in her appearance here today. So very glad that you were able to come on with us today. We're going to do a little bit of trivia with Tom to see if we can't score some points against Tom's trivia as we transition into our next guest. But hold on there, Samantha. Stand by. And Samantha Hockman from Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum is on with us now. Hello to you.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good. Good morning to you.
We are wonderful.
We have a little video thing to intro, and I know sometimes I forget to play it, so I'm not going to forget this week. Here it is. All right, Tom's trivia time. What do you got for us this week, buddy?
Every time I see that picture, I shake my head. I don't know what it is about it. Anyway, all right. Well, here we go. It's time for some trivia. All right. I got 7 questions. The last one is thematic, sort of. Time zones, movies. I'm just giving you the categories here. Hats, eggs, fossils, dogs, and a mystery category. All right.
A
Here
mystery
we go.
category.
A
All right.
mystery category. It's thematic. Anyway, sort of. All right. Question number 1, time zones. Is Alabama, the state of Alabama, in the central time zone or the eastern time zone? No looking at maps.
Central?
I suppose you could.
Yeah, that's gotta be central. We all
Central.
agree it's got to be
Yes.
central.
The other way.
Yes, believe it or not, it is Central. A lot of people said Eastern. That's very good. Very good. We're on it.
Nice.
It's a good start. All
All
right.
right.
One of the greatest movies of all time. No. The greatest movie of all time. Greg, what is it?
A
My
Princess
favorite
Bride.
movie. No, my favorite movie of all time. I've said it enough times. Back to the Future.
Back to the Future's up there.
Who
Yes.
directed the 1985 film Back to the Future? Was it Ivan Reitman or Robert Zemeckis?
Robert Zemeckis.
Robert Zemeckis.
You are 2-0. Is that right? 2-0.
What do you- Miss Swinbank, are you a Back to the Future fan at all?
I watch movies, but I'm horrible with names.
Yeah. But Back to the Future, the Back to the Future trilogy, one of the greatest trilogies of movies ever. It's up
No
there.
question about it. And I long for the day when I have all 3 of them on an ultimate disc. My kids got it for me for Father's Day, I believe. And one day when I have 6 hours free, I am just going to pop it in a DVR and just watch the whole thing all the way through. That's my goal, but I never have enough time. All right. Nicely done so far. We are on a roll. All right. Here we go. All right. Question number 3. It's all about hats. What is the term for a fine and expensive hat made in Ecuador? It's named after a country. Once again, what is the term for a fine and expensive hat made in Ecuador? It is named after a country.
Does fedora have something to do with a country?
I will say this. It has been in the news lately. The country.
The news lately. A hat, beret, fedora. What other fancy hat name can you think of? I can't.
All I can think of is top hat or derby.
A
So,
derby. Ugh. I'm coming up blank. I'm coming up blank on this one.
All right. If I give you a hint and you only get half a point,
Okay, we'll take the half a point, hopefully.
I can give you 2 hints. Both of them would work. One would be Van Halen, and the other would be Body of
Oh,
Water.
Panama.
Panama.
Yes,
Yeah, Panama hat. All right.
Why don't I think of Panama as a country? I just think of the Panama Canal. I don't think of Panama as a country.
Yeah.
Mind block.
Sorry.
All right.
Now I feel bad.
We'll take the half a point.
I gotta go back and research. Is Panama a country?
By the way, I found a
Yes, it
link to a nice article that Rock River Current did on the upcoming Park Kiwanis Pork Chop Day. So I put that link to this page in the chat for you if you want to get more information on that. Easy to find and share. Come on, Parks Kiwanis Pork Chop Day, May 17th. And,
Now my mouth is watering.
Thank you, Rock River Current. You're awesome. All right.
Yeah, they are awesome. All right. Here we go with question number 4. Eggs. This is probably an easy one. The albumin of an egg is also known as what?
Is it the white or the yolk? It's got to.
Yolk.
I'm going to go with the yolk.
Are we in agreement? The yolk?
Please be the yolk.
No. We wanted the white answer.
It's the
instead of
white.
wrong answer.
Oh no!
It's the white. Yeah.
What is the word? Albumin.
Albumin. ALBUMEN. Albumin.
All right.
All right.
I won't remember that for the next trivia contest.
All right. Here we go with question number 5. Fossils. What is the study of fossils called? Actually, Greg, you will remember that trivia.
the fossils.
Study of fossils.
Paleontology.
Oh,
Yes.
Paleontology.
Paleontology.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
good job.
What are we up to?
All right.
3.5 points, Tom?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
We're doing
I
well.
believe so. Yeah, absolutely.
Better than I thought.
Okay, and now question number 5. Dogs. A dorgie. No, this is question number 6.
Okay.
Question number 6. A dorgie is a dog mixed breed combining a corgi, which was what QE2, Queen Elizabeth II, had, and a blank. What other dog? A
Dachshund?
dorgie. Yeah. Yep. I wanted to, yes. Normally I was going to add more to it, but I didn't need to. Once you get the answer,
I'm
we're
glad
done.
you said that because I was thinking Doberman.
That's
Yeah,
what a
me
lot
too.
of people said.
Me too.
A lot of people said that. Yep. It's a dachshund.
A
All right, here we
Dachshund and a
go.
Corgi. Okay, those sizes make a lot more sense together. So that's yeah.
Yeah, they
True.
do. They do. They do. All right. Question number 7. Here we go. This is thematic, sort of. I keep saying that. You're like, what does he mean by that? Okay. How did Uncle Sam get his name? There's the theme right there. How did Uncle Sam get his name? Just kind of a generic answer is good. We'll all work through it. Well, you
I've heard the
three will
story
work
before.
through it. All right.
Supplies were being sent to soldiers from something that SAM was on there. It wasn't a person. It was SA. It was an acronym for something. I think.
Well, you're actually on the right track. I think you're kind of right. His name was Samuel Wilson, and he
Okay.
was a meat packer from Troy, New York. And then during the War of 1812, he supplied the meat for the soldiers. So you're right. But I had heard where it said U.S. something M. So everybody thought, oh, it's Uncle Sam. But it
Uncle
was
Sam.
Samuel Wilson was his name. So, all right, very good. You missed 1.5, so that's really good. So 5.5 points.
Anytime we do better than half, I'm better than
Oh, absolutely.
50%. I'm feeling
Absolutely.
pretty good.
So
Well,
nobody has gotten a complete 7-0 sweep yet.
that's the way it should be. It's a challenge. That's why. Otherwise, it's not a trivia challenge, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Samantha Swinbank, again, thank you so much for your time this morning. Is there anything we did not ask you about that you want to make sure we get the word out about before we let you go?
I don't think so, but thank you guys so much for having us and sharing the word about what we do here. It's greatly appreciated.
Well, we appreciate you as well. There's not enough mother's love going around. There just isn't. I mean, we've got so many bad stuff, bad things going on in the world. To see something like this and to be able to walk in there and donate and help and serve and get good stuff, it's a blessing. It is. So thank you.
Thank your daughter for helping out today.
Absolutely.
Oh,
She
yes,
did a great
definitely.
job
Both
on.
of them have been hiding.
Thank you, girls. Thank you,
They
girls.
did a great job on camera work. The Modern Family vibe went away, so we're good.
Well, you have a
Thank you,
great day.
guys.
I hope your event tomorrow is wonderful success, and we'll look forward to catching up with you again soon. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Bye,
You
Samantha.
too.
Bye.
All right, now switching gears to all things Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum and Gardens, and our friends Samantha Hockman. Good morning. Thank you for playing some trivia with us.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Just a reminder, we've got a big number of the week. I'm going to scroll that on the bottom of the screen here for a moment here. Get your guesses in for the big number of the week. For those who have never met Samantha Hockman before, what do you like to tell people? We like to know where you grew up, where you went to school, and the kind of your mini career arc, which led you to where you are today at Tinker Swiss.
Okay, sure. So I was actually born in Daytona, Florida, but we moved up here when I was about 8 years old. My parents were both from the Rockford area. They grew up and went to Harlem, so they were ready to come back home. So I grew up in Loves Park, went to Harlem, and then I graduated in 2009, jumped into Rock Valley because I wanted to teach high school history classes. And once I got to college, I realized college was so much more enjoyable than high school was. And I thought, well, let's just go teach college. And ended up getting my associates from Rock Valley, got my bachelor's from Northern Illinois University.
Go
But
Huskies.
go Huskies.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
Perfect. So going into college teaching, you need at least a master's degree, right? If not a doctorate. So I went to NIU for my master's as well. And I did like 1.5 years as a teaching assistant and decided, maybe this isn't for me, but now I have a master's in history. So what do I do? So I graduated and I did apply at some universities and colleges, but I also sent out my resume to all of the museums within like a 90-minute drive. And fortunately, Tinker was not quite hiring, but getting ready to open up for hiring. So I hopped in April of 2015, actually just had or 2016, I had my 9-year anniversary just the other week here. And so I started off part-time. I did part-time Tinker, part-time Discovery Center for a bit. And then I moved up full-time at Tinker and as the director of education. And then in 2018, my predecessor, Steve, said, "Hey, we're moving to Tennessee. You want this job?" And I said, "Okay, sure." So I took over as the director in August of 2018 and have been there ever since.
So you got to work under Steve Literal for a little while.
I did for a couple of years, yeah.
Quite a character of a guy. I imagine learning under him what Tinker was all about was a pretty interesting experience for you.
It was, but I don't know that I could have asked for anybody better to guide me in this direction. He was so fun to work with.
Anybody in any position, comes in with different backgrounds and histories and stuff, and his history, knowledge, and background, and yours, I'm sure, were meshed well together for those couple of years you got to work together.
We did. He was more of a military history focus, which makes sense because he was in the military. Whereas my focus has always been more on social and cultural history. I like the people. I like, what are they wearing? What holidays are they celebrating? What are they eating? Things like that. But it matched really well. And we both had experiences at NIU, both kind of grew up in the Rockford area. So it worked really well.
Well, the Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum, we could go in so many different bunny trails right now, Samantha. We could go. I know Tom's probably got a dozen questions that he would love to ask you about. Let's start here. When the typical visitor to Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum comes to take a tour and tour the house and the grounds, what is the main thing? What's like the top thing that most people want to know or ask you about that they bring up?
So there's a couple of things. One, they ask us, why is it called a cottage when it's so big? So it is called Tinker Swiss Cottage because Robert Tinker fell in love with Swiss architecture while he traveled through Europe for 9 months in 1862. Came back, began building his home in 1865, and modeled it after a Swiss chalet, which is where we get that Swiss name from. But then it's called a cottage. It's in fact a 22-room mansion. But in the English countryside, which the Tinker family was of English descent, you call your homes that are surrounded by a lot of land cottages. So that is where we get the Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum, because initially he had 27 acres of land that he had as gardens and farming and all sorts of things. So today we still have 5 acres. But the other thing, of course, people always ask about is it really haunted? And I always tell people that is up to you to decide. We don't push our beliefs either way. As staff, we officially do believe the Tinkers are hanging around with us, but they're just like a group of Caspers, very friendly, sometimes helpful, sometimes not so much. But it's all very peaceful. We've been open as a museum since 1943. So for over 80 years, nobody's ever been injured or anything like that. It's not one of these 2 super scary places you see on TV. It's just very basic and calm, but fun and interesting, and a different way to look at history, right?
Yeah. And it's always been, it was never owned by anyone else, right? Because Robert Tinker built it. His wife and had family that lived there who ended up basically donating it to, was it the Park District originally? How's that?
Yeah, so Robert Tinker built the home 1865, and he lived in it until his passing in 1924. His first wife, Mary, had passed away in 1901. He remarried her niece in 1904. And then Jessie was the second wife, and she lived there until her passing in 1942. But Jessie and Robert had kind of talked about what they wanted to be done with the home. They had adopted a son, Ted. So he has had his portion, kind of set off of things that he would get to have and funds and things like that. But they wanted their legacy to live on. And so Jessie, before her passing, donated the land and buildings to the Rockford Park District, but then the home and its contents to 3 trustees to open the Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum in honor of her family's legacy. And so we have been open since 1943, the year after her passing.
And like I said, we could go down so many different bunny trails with this, with the stories. Robert Tinker was kind of like the Don Quixote of his age, right? And he was the world's most interesting man. The guy did stuff that you kind of wonder how he had time to do it all.
Yeah,
Traveling
we
and
do get that
inventing.
question quite a bit. And I always tell people, well, it's amazing what you can do when you don't have Facebook and TikTok distracting you.
So what was his background? Where did he get his money? I mean, you got to have some money to travel to Switzerland and wherever else, Europe, for 9 months. Goodness gracious, I can't go somewhere for 9 days without losing money from trivia or whatever. So what was his background? Where did he make all his money?
So I like to joke around and say he got his money the old-fashioned way by marrying a rich widow. Robert Tinker had started off as a bank accountant. He was actually, okay, let me back up a little bit. He was born in the Sandwich Islands, which, if you're not familiar, is nowadays Hawaii. His parents were missionaries in Honolulu. And when he was about 5 years old, the family decided they're ready to move back to the States. So they end up settling in Westfield, New York, which is just south of Buffalo, near the top of the state. And he grows up, but at the age of 16, he has to leave school and go to work at the bank as an accountant because his father has passed away. So he goes to work to help the family. Well, a few years later, in 1856, he's 19 years old, and he gets to meeting this gentleman who has arrived in town on business named Mr. William Knowlton. And William Knowlton is really impressed with his skill set. And he is one of the business partners of Mrs. Mary Dorr Manny, John Manny's widow, who is running the Manny Reaper Works here in Rockford, Illinois. It's one of the first businesses that really put Rockford on the map, which is why we were known as Reaper City for a bit. But Mr. William Knowlton is very impressed with Robert's skill set. He knows that the company's been looking for a good accountant, and he offers him both a job and an apartment if he'll move out west and settle here in Rockford. And he's 19. He's got not a lot else going on. So he says, sure, why not? He hops on his train, gets out here, starts off as Mary's accountant, works his way up through the company over 14 years, really kind of moving up to the point where he's Mary's like right-hand man and also partner in the company, at which point then they get married in April of 1870. And so that's kind of how he got his funds. So she did actually pay for his travels through Europe. It's said that it's because he was moving up the social classes, and upper class gentlemen would take a trip through Europe for an education of the world. But it also happened to coincide with the Civil War. We believe personally, and again, this is just a theory, but we believe that she had already lost one husband. She really didn't want to lose Robert as well. And so we think she sent him off to Europe to do his education at that time, because she paid his trip costs and his salary for all 9 months while he was gone. And he just happened to come back from his trip when the Union allowed people to start paying for substitutes to go to war for them. So Robert back, paid for a substitute. And fortunately, we do know that that gentleman came back home uninjured physically, and went off to Iowa to live a full life after that. But yeah, so that's, I guess, long story short, how he got his money.
That's
okay. Very interesting.
That's awesome. Well, there's some events coming up that we want people to know about. And one of the things that we wanted to make sure we talked about today was an upcoming gala that is really going to be pretty special. You mentioned Hawaii, and there's somebody coming from Hawaii to speak at this gala. Let me see if I can get that page up, and you can tell us about that coming up here in August.
Yeah, we're really excited. This is kind of the first real push. We're letting everybody know we're doing a gala. So you guys kind of heard it here first. Our Aloha Ohana Gala, celebrating local history and heritage, is going to take place on Thursday, August 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. We have Mike Smola, who is the curator at the Missionary Museum in Hawaii, coming to talk about the Tinker family's impact on the community there. For those who aren't aware, we also have the largest Hawaiian artifact collection in the entire Midwest, partially because his parents were missionaries there, but also partially because Robert and Mary took their 10-week honeymoon to Hawaii with her sister and his mother. But they will have some of those examples out on display as well. So you'll see some of the pieces that either they picked up on their travels or that the Hawaiian royalty actually gave them as gifts because they were good friends with King Kalakameha, the second and the third. So we'll have some of those on display. We have professional hula dancers coming from Chicago. From the woman who runs it was born and raised in Hawaii, lives in Chicago now, but so she'll be teaching us true traditional Hawaiian dance and showing us how it all goes. So we are really excited. It's going to be at the Embassy Suites, and the meal will be also a rendition of traditional Hawaiian cuisine.
I'm so looking forward to this. This is going to be so much fun. Sponsorship opportunities are available now for this event, and we would love to be able to partner with some of Rockford's finest to make this happen. If your business wants to partner with Tinker Swiss Cottage on this very premier event, this super gala, and I mean, who doesn't love Hawaii? I mean, come on. I would love to say that I got a chance to go see this mission while my wife and I were there a couple weeks ago, but we didn't have time to get there with our schedule was too tight to go there. But we were pretty close.
Next trip.
That's right. Another reason to go back. And I mean, can you imagine traveling anywhere, let alone to Hawaii for 10 weeks back in what would have been?
1870, April of 1870.
So the trip from the Midwest to California is one thing, let alone to get on another ship and go all the way to Hawaii. That had to be.
Well, fortunately, by the time they went, the Transcontinental Railroad had already been constructed.
Okay.
So it was a full week to get there between the train and the boat. And then it was 8 weeks there and then a full week to get home.
I thought it would have taken a lot longer than a week to get to Hawaii in 1870.
I thought so as well.
I would have said 2 weeks. So that's pretty stinking impressive alone. But this should be a really super interesting night, a very, very special night for Rockford and for Rockford's history, and celebrating the Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum and Robert Tinker and the connection that he had with Hawaii and this mission. It should be a really super special night. 2025 Aloha Ohana Gala, August 21st. It's a Thursday night. Mark the calendars now, and we'll be announcing hopefully in the next month or so tickets being available for this event. So this should be really, really cool. Was this a germ of an idea that you had a year or two ago? How did this all come about? What was the?
Sure. So for the last, I don't know how many years, we've been doing a Tinker Visions breakfast in May. And we have seen, even though it's still done well, our numbers kind of have started dwindling for the breakfast. And it's because there's so many more people who are working full time now. And it's hard to get away for a morning meeting, right? Or a morning breakfast event. So we thought, well, let's kind of switch into something later in the day. So we've kind of been toying with having a gala, not having a gala, and we've decided, you know what, let's go full speed ahead and try it out and see if people are as excited about it as we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll be happy to know I sat next to Jackie Abels this week for a
Oh,
luncheon. One of the previous volunteer of the years over there at Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. She's doing
we
really
love
well.
you.
She's
Good.
doing really well. Well, if somebody wants to partner with Tinker on this wonderful event coming up in August, please contact Samantha or the team over there at Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. Give them a call, shoot them an email, Facebook message, or on Instagram. They're doing all the things. So go ahead and get in touch with them and see where you might fit in to this upcoming event that should be hopefully become one of those staple events that happens annually or biannually in Rockford to celebrate all things Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum and Gardens. It's one of those things again that I think people just don't realize just how special it really is into the history of Rockford. But I didn't. I asked AI to give me some questions for you today, Samantha.
Oh boy.
So I have some of those to get to you. But before I get to that, is there anything that we wanted to make sure we covered? Did we cover all the bases that we wanted to cover?
For the most part, I do want people to know, though, that we are open 6 days a week. We do general history tours Tuesday through Sunday at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. You don't need a reservation unless your group is larger than 8. But we always encourage reservations. But otherwise, you are more than welcome to walk in. The doors open 15 minutes before the start of your tour. But the tours do start at 1 o'clock and at 3 o'clock in the barn. So we have that going on. We also have all sorts of other events, including tea parties, and we do birthday rentals, wedding rentals. We do a big trunk or treat in the fall. We're doing a big ice cream social this coming July. We have summer camps, June, July, and August. So all sorts of fun things. Check out our website, tinkercottage.com.
All right, I have one question, and this isn't me trying to drum up business or anything. I do a lot of trivia. I do pub trivia a couple nights a week. I did one last night. Trivia is a very good fundraiser. Would you have an area big enough to have to accommodate 60 or 70 people or something like that to do a trivia event where everybody that comes in is maybe a $10 donation or something like that? It's a real good way to make $1,500, $2,000, whatever.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So we do, the lower level of our barn can hold up to 60 people. Now, I will say, though, we are partnering with Greenwood Cemetery. And in May 23rd, Friday, May 23rd, we're going to be having a Tipsy History Twilight Toasts is what we're calling it, at Greenwood Cemetery, where we are going to be doing a little bit of a trivia. It's a fundraiser for the museum as well as Greenwood Cemetery. Fitzgerald Funeral Home is helping to sponsor the cost of some of the drinks. But you're going to get 3 drinks. You'll come in. You'll get a tour of the historic Greenwood Chapel. You'll do a bit of Victorian trivia about a few different things, medical practices, funerary practices, things like that. And then we're actually going to take you on a tour around the cemetery as well, telling you some of the more fun stories behind the stones. So we do have that coming up in May as well. But yeah, we're always open for trivia. We've got a few Tipsy history programs that we have brought to other places in a trivia-esque sort of way. So we do those presentations as well. So we've done that at a couple of smaller local venues here so far. But yeah, we're always open for that sort of stuff.
I think it's a great idea, Tom. I think we should dovetail off of that Tipsy history thing, and maybe hopefully by then we could have something set up that we could kind of promote at the same time, saying, "Hey, coming up in a couple of months, we're doing this a similar trivia event," and if like you say, 50 or 60 people in the barn.
Yeah.
And if that goes well, maybe we go and take it to a bigger venue at some point. I think that'd be a great idea.
And we could call it basically a Rockford history event with one category being all about Tinker Swiss Cottage. So just an idea. Just an idea.
One round of Tinker trivia, a couple rounds of other just Rockford general trivia, something like that. That I think it'd be a lot of fun. So we'll talk about that. And then by way of I guess full disclosure, not that we need to full disclosure everything, but it's kind of fortuitous how Samantha and I met, because really it all became about when her and her husband Eric were starting their home search, and we connected with them, and I helped them purchase their home in Loves Park, which was what, 8 or 9 years ago now.
It was fall of 2018, August of 2018, because the same
2018.
time we bought this house is the same time I took over as director from Steve.
Yeah.
And I will say that Greg has the patience of a saint. We went through like 75 houses before we finally got this one. We made 7 different offers. It was
There's
crazy.
a lot of houses, and yeah, we have some interesting stories we could tell that we are not going to share here today. But we had a good time. We got them their house, and I'm so happy with that. The story of that house itself is a good one to tell. And I often, without sharing your name, often tell that story because it helps me explain. It helps me
You were
explain.
your most difficult customers, and I say
Yeah.
we, I mean my husband.
Well, and out of that, and having met Steve so, before that, a long time before that, and then getting to know you and see you get involved with Tinker Swiss was just a really great thing there. And then just recently, just in the last 6 months, I ended up joining the board of directors there for Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. So glad to be a part of what you're doing there and building there and continuing to maintain there. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing for the Rockford community. So glad to be a part of that. So I asked. Thank you very much. I asked Gemini.google.com, the AI that I tend to use the most. I said, hey, I'm interviewing the executive director of a historical museum, Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. Her name is Samantha Hockman. What should I ask her? And AI said, interviewing the executive director of a historical museum like Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum is a fantastic opportunity. Here are 3 good questions to ask Samantha Hockman. So question number 1, Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum holds a unique place in Rockford's history. Could you share some of the most fascinating stories or artifacts that visitors encounter, and what makes the museum particularly special? And we pretty much already did that in our conversation already. Is there anything that you want to add, maybe tidbit, before we move on to question number 2?
Yeah, there's 2 things I want to maybe throw in. So one is we are actually the founding site of our city. When Rockford was founded by Germanicus, Kent, Lewis, Lemon, and Thatcher Blake, they landed on the north side of the creek where we're at, built up the city around us. So we are actually the founding site of Rockford, Illinois. The other fun fact I always like to say is Robert, a lot of people think of him as, okay, he was just a wealthy businessman. I kind of refer to him as Shark Tank of Rockford, right? Helped start up the park district, the libraries.
It's a great way to talk about him. It is.
But the other thing I don't think people realize is he was a self-taught artist and extremely good with his hands. So we have a ton of his artwork throughout the house, as well as furniture he created, which is really unique. And he did a lot of the woodworking in the house as well himself, including the creation of a spiral staircase that took him 2 years to finish.
Wow.
So it is a lot of really neat things to see.
All right.
All right, one quick interjection here. You mentioned Thatcher Blake, Germanicus, Kent, and Lewis Lemon. Where does Daniel Haight fall in there?
So those 3 gentlemen started the west side of Rockford. Daniel Haight came a little bit later, and he's founded the east side, and that's where you get Haight Village from, where the Swedish Historical Society is located.
And he also founded the Haight Motel. No. East Side Inn Hotel, which has been refurbished. There's always such a creepy building every time I go by it, and then they refurbished it. And so anyway, okay, I just wanted to, because that name popped into my head as well, because I remember him getting credit for some sort of founding. But you're right, East Side. I remember that now. Yes. Thank you. You're so full of knowledge.
And I've
awesome.
I've always liked pronouncing his name Haift, because GH is in there. GH is an F sound, so I think it should be pronounced Haift. But anyway, that's just me. That's
my Dofter thinks the same thing.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Question number 2, Gemini AI. Historical museums are vital for preserving our past, but also need to stay relevant to contemporary audiences. How does Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum engage with the community, particularly younger generations, and what are some of the innovative ways you're making history accessible? How about that for an AI question?
Sure.
That's easy. They sell
Related
lottery
to
tickets
younger
at the front
people,
door.
Samantha.
Yeah, AI is throwing the hard balls. Um,
Yeah.
so we do a number of things. One of which is we try to make our events more diverse. So we have our traditional, what you would expect to see from historic museums, like our summer lecture series, winter workshops, things like that. But then we also do our paranormal nights, but we do murder mystery games as well that we've designed where you can come dressed in clothes in costumes, and you can be a character in this historical time period set in the cottage and play out this murder mystery game. We also host a ball in March where it's a Victorian Civil War themed ball. You can get your dresses, dress up in your suits, learn how to do the dances of the 1800s.
That was a lot of fun.
It was.
I really enjoyed that. My wife and I enjoyed that a lot.
Good. But then we also do like summer camps where we have tea parties where it's a 3-course little luncheon and we partner with Characters to Life. They send out some princesses, and so that the kids get to learn what it's like to be at a Victorian tea, but it's also a fun little twist to it as well with the princesses coming. But then on top of that, we are very focused on our social media. So we do have X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So on each platform, we will share different things. So our events get shared, but also, especially on like TikTok or Instagram, we'll sometimes do funny little skits and reels to show people, especially the younger generations, history museums are fun. They're not super stuffy, a bunch of old people who have their noses up at you, right? It's they're meant for everybody. We want everybody in our community to feel welcomed at the museum, and to see us having fun in the space, I think hopefully helps share that as well.
Samantha and Stephanie have taken it up more than a notch. They have done a really great job of making this, making their posts a lot of fun and educational, and just bringing relevance to Tinker Swiss Cottage. So very much appreciate what you guys,
Thank you.
what you are both doing with that. And then question number 3 from AI: looking ahead, what are some of the future plans or aspirations for Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum? Are there any upcoming exhibits, events, or initiatives you're particularly excited about? And we obviously shared about the gala and other things that are coming up. The one thing this makes me think of too right now, Samantha, is the need to repair some stuff around the cottage that probably was going to cost more than a few dollars.
Exactly. So for the first part of that, yes, we do have some exhibits coming up. We are really excited at the end of this month, on April 20, oh gosh, I think it's 29th, right? Because the In-Crowd Network is on the 24th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you come to the In-Crowd networking event on the 24th, you're going to get a sneak peek first view of our new exhibit that's opening up on April 29th. And it is going to be on famous works in Tinker family writings. So you'll actually get to see letters they wrote to each other. You'll get to see their journals. You'll get to see more famous artwork pieces, like we have stuff from Charles Dickens and Edgar Allan Poe and Mark Twain, and you'll hear some of the family stories. In the archives, we have been transcribing Marcia Dore's journals to help give the women of the family more of a voice, as well as Jesse's recipe book to kind of talk more about the ladies' lives who lived at the cottage as well. But then we are also doing a marginalia project where we are going through every single one of their over 800 printed books, and taking images and transcribing any of the notes that they made in their books. And those will be made available to the general public, first as PDFs on our website for researchers, but then also we'll be eventually publishing them in the gift shop so you can get those and take them home with you. But we do always have projects going on. The conservatory is hopefully going to get some much needed work done this summer. We have brick pathways from the parking lot to the barn that also this summer We are planning on that getting repaired, as well as the barn roof needs to be replaced and the barn itself needs to be repainted. So we are planning all of those big ones for this summer. However, we also have a really big need on the west side of the cottage. For those who haven't been, the cottage is actually set up onto a limestone bluff overlooking Kent Creek. So the lower level is about 3 stories above waterline, 3 to 4 stories above waterline. So the west side, about 100 years ago, a little more, Robert had installed drainage pipes and sewer systems, right? Because the Tinkers did put in indoor plumbing in the 1880s. And one of those pipes have burst and has been deteriorating the west side of the limestone. And it's to the point where it has shifted the ground to the extent that the outdoor dining table they had made with the grist mill stone is shifted. The porch on the west side is starting to detach. The stairs are detaching from the porch itself because the ground, it is really not ADA accessible with the limestone deteriorating. And it's deteriorated the holding on the fence even. So we have to move the porch off the building, move the stone table, dig up that entire foundation there, replace the plumbing, put in a new limestone slab on top of it. It's going to cost us around $600,000.
It's a little more than putting in a simple retaining wall. Let's just put it that way.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we're not super excited about that.
That's a lot of tours right there.
That's a lot of tours.
tours. Yeah. So we are always in need of donations. If anybody's got a spare like $1 million laying around, we would be more than happy to accept it. We have been applying for grants. We are trying to lobby with local legislators to help us because it is a public park. It is open to the public from sunup until sundown. People go fishing, kids ride their bikes through the property. Like, we have a huge space that our Southwest Corridor loves to utilize, and we love that they utilize it, but we want to make it safe for them to utilize as well.
Yeah, very important to do so. This would be a good opportunity to invite people, as you mentioned, to our in-crowd event coming up on April 24th. That's a Thursday night from 5:30 to 7:30. And if you look up on Facebook, you'll find our event page, April 2025 in-crowd 815 networking group at Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. It is a free networking group, free events. We'll have some hors d'oeuvres and beverages and give you a chance to meet the folks who run the museum and the cottage and get your questions asked, maybe even take a little bit of a tour throughout some of the part of the area there of the grounds. And hopefully the weather cooperates with us and we can do some stuff outside as well that evening. But 5:30 to 7:30 on April 24th. We're less than a couple weeks away now. I'm really excited about having people come out to Tinker Swiss Cottage. And some of the people I've talked to even this week, Samantha, have already told me, you know what? I've lived here all my life and I've never gotten out there to see the cottage. I'm coming to your event, Greg. I'm going to be out there to not just network, but learn about Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. So
fantastic. We hear that all the time. Nobody tours their own hometown. You go traveling, you'll see those sites. But when it comes to your own hometown, you're like, oh, there's nothing to do this weekend. There's always something to do in Rockford.
It's true.
There is. So I'll put this in the chat here right now too. So this will take you right to the event page for the April 24th in-crowd 815 networking group event. All right. So now for hopefully something fun. All right. After asking AI for these questions, I said, hey, let's add some quirky, fun questions to the interview. So give me 3 more. And here's number 1. If the Tinker Swiss Cottage could talk, what historical figure do you think it would gossip about the most? And what scandalous stories would it reveal?
Oh, that is a great question. I think if we're going to talk gossip, if we're talking in the family, probably Jessie, the second wife, would be a little bit of the gossip of the walls. She was very much a free-spirited young woman, and had to be reined in a little bit. She ran off to Chicago and eloped with a guy named Guy when she was 35. They did move back, but they unfortunately he passed away only 3 years after they were married, so she had to move back in. But then, eventually she ends up being the second Mrs. Tinker, and then she, surprise, adopts a baby out of nowhere. And Robert's like, I'm sorry, we have a what now?
Named Ted.
71, almost 72, Robert becomes a first-time father to a 10-week-old bouncing baby boy. So I'm sure they would have probably chatted about that. But I think that another one that maybe would have had a little gossip about would have been the Graham family down the road. Robert and Mary were good friends with the Grahams, but they did own the first sour mash whiskey distillery in the state of Illinois. And you can actually go tour their home just a block and a half away from us at the Graham Genestra House Museum. They kind of survived through Prohibition and everything, but there's some fun stories over there as well. So
Awesome. That's just the tip of the iceberg, I'm sure. So, all right. Question 2 of the odd and quirky questions. Let's say the museum acquired a time machine. What historical era would you send the Tinkers to for a wild field trip, and what kind of souvenirs would they bring back?
gosh, that is a great question.
Robert being the guy that he was, he would have wanted to do something crazy adventurous, like go back to old Rome or something like that.
Yeah.
Watch the gladiators fight or something.
Yeah.
Between that, or I think he would want to even come to the future, because the idea of airplanes, you can go skydiving. I feel like he's one who would maybe take that up, based on his adventurous kind of personality. And I think the ladies would have loved modern shopping.
Yeah.
So I feel like modern times would have been a hit, but I think you're right. I think something like ancient Rome, or, maybe even a trip through the, dinosaur era, just to take snapshots and get out of there before they get eaten. But
oh my gosh, yes. All right, and the final one here: if the Tinker Swiss Cottage had a resident ghost, I didn't come up with this. This is AI.
Okay.
If the Tinker Swiss Cottage had a resident ghost with a quirky personality, what kind of pranks would it play on visitors and staff? This is already happening, so this isn't even made up. This is already stuff that you are experiencing there.
Yes. So the Tinkers, we believe, are hanging around with us. They do like to play pranks on the staff. But Robert, that's no surprise, because he was known for being a prankster in life. And I'd like to tell this story because it is as a historian, doing all the research I've done, one of my all-time favorite newspaper articles I've ever discovered was an article from the 1800s talking about the ghost haunting the Tinker grounds. And I'm sitting here going, what ghost? Because they're all living at that point in the 1800s.
Right.
Well, the story says I can't remember his name, Mr. So-and-so was walking home after work around 2:30 in the morning. And as he was passing by Tinker's Lane, an apparition in a flowing white sheet came from around the bend and began pursuing the gentleman down the lane. This gentleman, though, had already heard about the apparition stalking the grounds late at night of the cottage. So he came prepared with a pistol. Fearful for his life, he draws his weapon and aims it at the ghost, telling him to halt. The ghost does not stop. So he fires a warning shot over the ghost's head, who then turns around quickly, running back towards the cottage, showing his very humanly legs, never to be seen again, hopefully. And so for years. My question in all of our investigations, I tell the story about this ghost haunting the grounds in the 1800s and scaring the neighbors. I always ask, okay, who is staying up until 2 a.m. to go scare their neighbors? Is it Robert? Was it you? Was it some neighborhood kids? Who did it? I have to know for no real reason other than I have to know. And for like 5 years, I could not get an answer. And finally, I told the story during one investigation, and we had a ghost box running. And if you're not familiar with those, it is something that scans the radio frequencies. So when you're watching the TV shows, it's the one that goes shh, 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 right? But it's going shh, 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 shh. So every time it bounces, it's bouncing from a radio station, right? And so the idea is that the spirits can use the white noise to pull words out and respond. You know, I don't know the science behind it. I don't know if it is science behind it, but it's fun, right? So I tell the story and I said, Robert, was that you? And through the box, you heard a man's voice go, yeah, I did that. I was like, ah, I've got my answer. I know now. Huzzah. So prankster in life. He has continued to be a prankster in the afterlife. He moves the silverware around on the table because he knows it drives us nuts. He'll rock the rocking chair for some people, but if I'm in the room, he won't because he knows I want to see it rock. And he's like, oh, it'd be a shame if it didn't. So just very much a friendly prankster gentleman.
Well, there's so much coming up. There's a lot of events coming up at the Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. And of course, those tours every Tuesday and Sunday.
Tuesday through Sunday.
Tuesday through Sunday. So at 1 and 3, take advantage of that. Get family coming into town, bring them out to see it. Even if you don't have family coming to town, just go do it yourself sometime and check out all things Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum. We're looking forward to this gala in August. And if someone wants to help sponsor that, we would love to talk with you about that as well. So I really appreciate your time this morning. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, I did. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to having you back again and promote some of these other upcoming events that we got at Tinker Swiss in the months and years to come. All right.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you for all that cool knowledge. That was awesome.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right. We need to get to our big number of the week and our current race to 10 as a score of.
By the way, two great guests today.
What a great day. Yes. What a great day.
Yes.
All right. So we have big number of the week, 146,200. What an odd number. And the answer this week is Adventure or Alexander. And Tom has sent me his answer, and I am ready to give this to you. Let me double check, make sure I get this right. All right, there we go. So 100 days. 100 days is the total days that passengers will spend on the adventure by train around the world. Have you? I just heard about this about a week and a half ago. Adventure by train around the world in 100 days. It's a tour that departs from London March 17th of 2026. It is only available to 12 passengers. And guess how much it costs to take a ticket on this trip?
I'm hoping these tickets are very expensive, like $146,200.
$146,200, Tom, per person if you travel as a single. If you travel as a couple, they'll cut it down to $116,500 each. But again, only room for 12 passengers. I wonder who the tour guide is on this. And of course, obviously, you can't go around the world by train. Well, you will be on a boat at some point.
It's obvious it's Robert Tinker. That's what he did with his time machine. Okay, so no, you know what? You can do this by train. But here's how you do it. You start with London, you go all the way through, you're going to go up through Asia. You're in Europe already. Go up through Asia, and then the only place where you would have to be on a boat like a ferry would be, and a train can't do that. But It'd be at Bering Strait, which is only about 3 miles from Alaska to Russia. Literally, it's 3
Well,
miles at that
here's
point at the Bering Strait, and then you go down through Alaska, then through Canada, and then back into America.
Here's the story. It's on cnbc.com. An intimate and luxurious travel experience taking 12 people around the world in 100 days, almost entirely by train. Forget crowded airports and hours-long flights. If traveling the world is on your bucket list, Adventures by Train is set to offer a new, unique experience, y'all, in 100 days, starting March 17th, 2026. And of course, they're promoting being green. And passengers will also be joined by a dedicated tour leader escorting the group on all the trips, start and end in London. Yeah, it took about 6 months to put the trip together. They've been dreaming of putting this together for years. I thought I saw on here where they crossed the ocean. 23 days on the North Pacific Passage luxury cruise from Tokyo to Vancouver, and then a 7-night Atlantic crossing on the Queen Mary 2. That's pretty special. That's pretty awesome. But anyway, there's your answer. Tom gets the point on that one. The Alexander, you're not much of a hockey fan, but you appreciate hockey, right?
Oh, I like hockey. Absolutely.
You saw
You're
what
talking
happened.
about Alexander Ovechkin.
Alexander Ovechkin became the NHL's all-time leader in goals.
895 goals.
895 goals. Here's this part that is really special and is totally worth a trivia question, Tom. He broke Wayne Gretzky's record of 894 goals. That record stood for more than 25 years. But here's the symmetry of the whole thing that is absolutely amazing. Ovi broke the record on his 1,487th game. Guess how many games Wayne Gretzky played in his career?
Oh, I'm going to go 1,487.
487 in his career. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Because we've recently saw LeBron James overtake the NBA scoring record.
From
But
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He's played so many more games than Kareem played. You know, I mean, like a whole 2 seasons or something like that, more than Kareem played.
It's not as many as you think. Kareem played for like 22 years. And
I thought it was at least a full season, if not almost 2 full seasons.
It probably was. It probably was, but it's not astronomical. Like, for instance, when you have the LeBron-Michael argument, Michael played minus 2 seasons in 94, 95. At least a half a season he played in 95. But anyway, he also went 4 years in college. LeBron never played college ball, so he had 4 years extra there. And Kareem played till he was in his 40s, which is where LeBron is now. He's just 40 now. So that's where LeBron gets an extra 4 years. But he's only got he maybe got 2 more years than Kareem.
Kareem played 2 or 3 seasons in college. He played college ball.
He did. UCLA.
LeBron didn't. Yeah, LeBron went right out of high school, right?
I believe Kareem did his entire 4 years. I thought. He may have done 3.
I think you're right.
But yeah, and LeBron went straight from high school.
Right. So there's those few seasons that he's got, I think, on Kareem as far as and he's still playing, really well. I mean, that's pretty stinking awesome.
Yeah, he's not MVP anymore, but he's darn close. He's always in the running for MVP, but he's not going to win it because you've got Nikola Jokic, who's won a couple now. You've got Anthony Edwards. Yeah, I mean, you've got so many great players right now that are
these 2 young teams now, Oklahoma City and Minnesota, that are just what? Yeah, there's some great youngsters.
Well, even Cleveland, you've got Donovan Mitchell on Cleveland, and Cleveland, right? It looks like it's going to be Cleveland and OKC. And if you had to put money on it, I'd say put money on Cleveland and OKC because they're both great teams. And I really would love to see OKC win it, but I also would love to see Cleveland win it too because, you know, it took LeBron going back to Cleveland for them to get a championship. And it's been such a hard luck city for so many years with baseball, with football. And I would love to see Cleveland get another championship.
What's the likelihood of a Lakers Cavaliers NBA final.
Um, it's very likely. Very
Wouldn't that
likely.
be-
OKC has one specific move that they do in the playoffs. It's called this.
But they're young, so they're gonna
Well,
break
they
that.
are. They are. They're well coached. They're young. They got talent like crazy, and they've got a lot of people behind them. I'm really hoping. I want OKC. Well, I want Milwaukee, obviously, but I don't think that's happening because something's not right in Milwaukee. You've still got all that talent, and you've added Dame Lillard. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We need better. Bring back Mike Budenholzer. I know a lot of you are going like, okay, you've lost me.
Did you see the April Fool's joke that Milwaukee pulled?
I did not. What, Kareem's
said-
coming back?
That Budenholzer was coming back.
Yeah, I wish. I really wish. I don't know why they got rid of him in the first place.
That was almost it was almost a bad April Fool's joke because they really probably should bring him back.
They should. They absolutely
And-
should.
It's like, yeah, why'd you do that? Why'd you have to do that? So, anywho, we've gone long again, of course, because we had two great guests and we wanted to talk to them a lot. So we are way longer than we normally go here on the In Crowd 815 podcast. So we probably won't be spending much time talking about sports, but I do want to give one more here at the end talk about our event this Thursday. And that is, if you want to attend it, you need to be on a VIP list for one of the participating teams. There will not be tickets being sold at the door, unlike, we did in October. This is a different setup for this event. So if you would like to attend and support these not-for-profits, you need to contact these not-for-profits and or the business that is sponsoring them. So our business sponsors this time that might still have tickets. I know as of yesterday, Paul Iverson at Iverson Painting still had seats available, and he might even give them to you if you just talk to him real nice.
Maybe bring him donuts or something. Who knows?
Maybe bring his painting team donuts over there at Iverson Painting. Medicare 411 and Tracy Fultz, she probably still has some seats available. Juan Reyes over at Security Pro Intel. Our friends over at PC Tech to You. Four Corners Wellness. Title Underwriters Agency. DJ Liquors down in Davis Junction. Illinois Telecommunications Access Corporation. Peak Sports Club and Rock Valley Credit Union. Those are the business sponsors at the In Crowd 815 Mass Karaoke Trivia Contest coming up this Thursday night, April 17th. And the not-for-profits being represented this time include Mosaic and Rockford. There will be two teams playing in support of Mosaic and Rockford this time. Rock House Kids, Shelter Care Ministries, the Tommy Coral Memorial Foundation, Shatter Our Silence, the Northern Illinois Food Bank, Nick's Wish, the Nicholas Ritchell Foundation, Safe Families for Children, Ramp, Ski Bronx Water Ski Show Team, and Rockford Promise. So when you reach out to these not-for-profits and or these businesses, you to get these seats, it might take you more than one call, Tom, because the organizing person, some of the organizing people are from the businesses, some organizing persons are from the not-for-profits. So either, and here's why I'm doing this. Here's why I'm not being specific about the organizing persons. I want to encourage people to be in contact with these not-for-profits and the businesses that support them. That's why we do this show. That's why we do what we do here at In Crowd 815, is to encourage people to interact with, volunteer with, and be involved with our Rockford area not-for-profits, and thank those businesses, be those businesses that support the not-for-profits that help make Rockford a better place to live. So there's your list on the screen of this event's sponsors and not-for-profits. Also a big time thank you to Jessica Riley at Envoy Mortgage for being one of our sponsors. She's not sponsoring a team, but she's sponsoring the event itself. And then Medicare 411 is our premier sponsor, our stage sponsor, and making this really happen. They're the big sponsor that's helping to make this actually be funded and make sure we can afford to do it, because we're making this as efficient as possible, because I want as much money as, to go into the not-for-profits as we possibly can. And this time around, we're really excited and proud to say that the winning team is going to win $2,000 for their chosen not-for-profit. A $2,000 grand prize is up
That
for
is
grabs
awesome.
at this event. The team that wins the grand prize wins the grand prize, and that's it. The team that scores the highest trivia score that doesn't win the grand prize is getting a $500 prize money for their not-for-profit. And the team that wins the karaoke highest score that doesn't win the overall prize will also win $500. So there's a total of $3,000 up for grabs at this event on Thursday night. We've got some surprise mystery gifts for some audience members who are going to be able to participate during the event as well. We're not going to be asking you to sing, although at the end of the event, when we're all done, you might have that opportunity. If the team you're there to support wants you to be on stage, they'll be allowed to put some folks on stage at the end. So
if all goes well, you and I will be spending our Thursday afternoon, evening, night, whatever, hanging out, because I want to go to the Tinker Swiss thing. You're going, obviously it's in crowd, so I want to go unless I have to work.
I hope you can make it. That's the week after this contest.
Right.
This Thursday night's the contest, April 17th, and then the in-crowd networking group is April 24th at Tinker
Assuming
Swiss.
I don't have to work, then I will be there. That's the goal anyway.
That should be a fun event too. So,
yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up finally here? What do you think?
For all my Packer fan friends out there, the draft takes place in Green Bay on the 24th, 25th, and 26th. I believe I got that right. And it's going to be an exciting time.
Awesome. Next week, did you know that Carpenter's Place has a brand new executive director? His name is Alberto Carrion. We're going to have Alberto on as our special guest next week here.
Awesome.
In Crowd 815 podcast, and learn his vision and his goals for Carpenter's Place here in Rockford. All right. That should do it. Remember, friends, check out incrowd815.com for 815 gear. We would love to see more InCrowd 815 gear bouncing around the city all summer long. That would be fun. Get your t-shirt, get your hat, and stuff like that. And remember, you change the world when you help one person. So be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same and meet you back here for another InCrowd 815 podcast. Thank you, buddy. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, buddy. Have a good one.
815